Question number 3 is from Kamel Brown at 777. Kamel, GM and coach candidates for the Jets. So Kamel, my first instinct is to say Mike Vrabel. The reason why is because they investigated Mike Vrabel in the past. It was, if I remember right, and I'm putting this all together, it was ahead of the 2018 hiring cycle. They wound up that year making the decision to stick with Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles got the extra year. By the time they fired Bowles after the 18 season, Vrabel was already in Tennessee. I think he would be exactly what they need. Do I think he'd go there? Probably not. This is a guy who did an excellent job with the Titans, and I think in some ways became a victim to the way that some of these organizations work and the way that the front offices and ownership is set up in some of these places. And I'm not saying that Tennessee isn't going to make it out of the rubble of all of what's happened in the last couple of years. I think they've got good people in charge there now, and Chad Brinker and Brian Callahan. And I hope that ownership would have learned from the experience of going through it. But, Mike Vrabel went through a lot there at the end. And that's why I just look at it and say, would that one make sense for him? I don't know that it would. But I think he represents exactly what they need in a head coach, and somebody who's strong, somebody who is not going to kowtow to the desires of the owner or the people around the owner. And we've said this for a while now, and I said this all the way back on Halloween, on our pregame show on Amazon. The issue there that a lot of general managers and coaches have run into is there are a lot of non-football people that have the ear of Woody Johnson and that are influencing football decisions. And then social media / the internet influences Woody as well. And so you need somebody who can stand up to that. You need somebody who can push back on that. You need somebody who isn't going to allow that to engulf them. And I think Mike Vrabel is that type of guy. I think there are others that make some sense. I think Aaron Glenn would be another one. He's a former Jets player. To me, like, he's somebody who has that sort of, a lot of the same strengths as Dan Campbell, like, can come in and be a culture changer and would have a very clear vision for what he would want in an organization. So Glenn would be another one that would make a lot of sense to me. Brian Flores, I think, is somebody, again, who comes in with head coaching experience and, I think would be very clear on what he'd want to build. He's from the area. He's from the Bronx. So he does have an understanding of the way that market works. And then, I think one other name that would make some sense is Cliff Kingsbury if you wanted to go the offensive guru route. Cliff is a former player. He did spend some time with the Jets. The Jets did pursue him at one point. And I think Cliff would be somebody, again, who has the experience of having been a head coach in other places, and I think would be willing to stand up and say no to ownership at key points. So those would be just some names that I have kind of in the back of my head. Belichick would work there too, believe it or not. Belichick kind of, I think, would be in a lot of ways some of what they need. But I think with that ready, aim, fire, or ready, fire, aim comment he made on the Manning cast, that it might not be the most likely thing that he winds up there. Also based on some things I know that he may think of Woody Johnson and has expressed to people privately over the last couple of decades.